As summer comes to an end, the forest evokes so much beauty. We get some heavy rains before the dry season comes. The creeks undulate and glisten, and we spend our afternoons resting in their flow. We've been continuing the project of renovating our cabin in the woods, but we've also been balancing the hard work of building with meals cooked straight from the orchards and lots of time spent relaxing in nature. This week I've been feeling a bit guilty. This big project of renovating our cabin in the rainforest has felt like a lot, and after finally finishing the floor last week, I'm feeling exhausted and a bit overwhelmed. To offset this, I've been spending a lot more time relaxing, and sometimes I feel like I should be hard at work and not playing with my duck in the stream. But I look at the animals, at my little duck named Happy playing in the stream, and you could argue that ducks' lives are very much about survival. They do things like eat, drink, find a safe place away from predators, all just to survive. But if you look at their lives closely, they do so much more. They understand the importance of balancing these acts of survival with things for fun. Happy plays in the stream for hours sometimes, flapping her wings with joy. Sometimes she lets the stream carry her away like a water slide, and sometimes she sits on a rock just for the warmth. She does these things for no purpose, no greater reason, and no means of survival. She does them just to have fun. So I'm learning to be like Happy and just do things for the fun. Life isn't just about survival, and it's not just about completing jobs or working hard. Mostly, it's about the moments like these, perched on a rock watching my tiny duck play in the rapids. And Happy's teachings leave me so full of energy to then complete all of the jobs that I've been avoiding. These plastic awnings were a project of our dad's. Years ago, he collected them from a pile at the rubbish tip and used them to protect the building from the north. We get a lot of rain here, with a yearly average of over 2 meters or 7 feet, and we often have storms with hundreds of millimeters overnight. So the weather can be intense on the buildings, especially this old shack built of hardwood sat straight into the soil. But these plastic sheets have become so degraded and yellowed that they were making the place look so drab.
It's such a change already. It feels so beautiful without that big plastic on here. I'm not sure what to do next here because we do need some sort of awning because we get so much rain, we need to protect it from the rain. But the plastic was just so ugly and not even protecting it that well, so we need another idea.
We could make a roof gutter, but there isn't a fascia board, so that might be impossible. Or we could build another big awning.
We can't let anything go to waste, and this was originally from the tip that our dad got it, and then we were about to give it back to the tip, but we realised that these poles will be really handy for something. So don't let anything go to waste, ever.
As we move into autumn, this is the best season for growing here.
The summer growth is wild. These are so tall. This is chia, so it'll be ready to harvest in late autumn or early winter. And then we've got some big marigolds and lots of herbs underneath. Lots of basil. Yum.
The fruit trees are abundant and the garden is thriving. I always let the seasons dictate what to cook, and this week, mint, green papaya, banana bells, and shallots are cooling my name, so I'm going to cook a big feast. This is our fruit picker, which is basically just a really long pole with a bag on the end. It also has a rope which pulls on a knife so that you can carefully cut the stem of the fruit and then it will fall into the basket. It's a lot easier said than done though, and normally the fruit falls in every direction. The joy of collecting food that you've grown yourself for a meal is incomparable. You start finding more and more delicious ingredients from the garden and find inspiration on every branch. chilies, limes, and then my favourite ingredient that I've never actually cooked with before, a banana flower. At the bottom of the bunch of bananas is a flower, or it's also called a banana bell. This blossom can be cut early from the banana bunch, and then the bananas will be encouraged to fatten up instead of putting energy into the flower. I've been learning a lot about banana farming for the last year, and while I still have a long way to go, I'm proud that we constantly have a ripe bunch at the moment. It's such an amazing resource to have, grown organically from our garden. I'm starting by covering up all of the surfaces with lime juice. This helps to slow down the oxidization process once I start cutting the flower, and will keep it from going brown too quickly. The heart of the banana flower is hidden under many layers of petals. These need to be pulled off until you get to a yellow center. Luckily, instead of a bin, I have the trusty goats who love scraps more than anything else.
Magnolia's back for more. This is why we can't plant bananas anywhere that the goats get to, because goats love bananas so much. It's actually a really good diet for them.
I used to think that creativity was only what I did for hobbies. When I sewed, or I drew something, or I tried to learn crochet, I thought that these experiences were guided by my sense of wonder and creativity. And they were, but at the same time in my life when I spent my weekends being creative, I thought that when I went to work on the weekdays, I was not creative. When I did my life chores, like cooking or cleaning, or just all of the things in between the mundane and the extraordinary, I thought that these tasks were lifeless. Now I realize that I was so wrong. There can be so much creativity even in the most menial tasks. Creativity is the act of expressing your inner thoughts outwardly, and we can do this in everything that we do. Cooking can become an art, a dance of flavour and colour and texture. At its core, cooking is an expression from within, even if it's just the expression of our appetite. Even just reheating some beans or toasting some bread can become creative through a wondrous lens. Cooking something just how you like it, or appreciating the simple flavours of your favourite snack. I've realised that creativity is much less about the finished piece, and it's more about the process. Sometimes a meal doesn't taste great, a dress doesn't fit well, a painting's perspective is off, but these things are still all creative. Because in the process, we learnt, we gave, and we created. So many people in my life have told me that they're not creative, and honestly, I don't believe a single one of them. Just because you can't paint well, or draw perfectly, or write music, it doesn't mean that you aren't creative. At our core, humans are creative. These same people that tell me they aren't creative go on to tell me a perfectly rounded joke. They connect to people in the room that share similar interests. They talk about maths formulas like poetry. They share their niche passions, or in some way, they show me how they express themselves. The idea of creativity has been skewed within capitalism to only encompass arts of consumption. We think of creativity alongside hobbies, alongside crafts to consume or courses to devour, but the truth is that every aspect of life is creative, and to be creative you don't need a new set of paintbrushes or embroidery thread or an e-course or a sketchbook, because just to exist is to be an artist. The way that we cook or clean, or the way that we connect to others or think or discover or wonder, all of these things are who we are and how we express ourselves. All of these things showcase our creativity.
So I have lots of plans for this kitchen. I've got a bit too many ideas. I'm thinking we could do some sort of thing where we build a big kind of island bench potentially, but then I like the idea of the kitchen being along here, so that could be good. And then at one stage we'd love to get a pizza oven here, which I think would be amazing. So there's that. I'm trying to think of where the pizza oven would go in regards to the kitchen and put them together. I don't know. I have so many ideas about this space. I thought you could even like make some sort of hanging bed situation here or a hanging chair, but I kind of like the idea of a hanging bed. And then, I don't know, somehow have like a rope or something that you can pull it so that it moves more into the rainforest or something. I don't know what. I have too many ideas and none of them really make sense, but please suggest any ideas that you have for this beautiful place, because I feel like there's just so much freedom to create these fun jungle things here.
Julia walked down the valley to come brainstorm and decide on what project we do next, and with her, all of the ducks and goats followed. It's a long way for the ducks' little legs, and they usually never come this far. Julia's health has still been bad, so she hasn't been able to join me much in this project. I think this is the goats and ducks' way of saying that they miss her, following her every footstep through the hills. Now I'm just hoping that this doesn't become a habit for the ducks, walking through the forest so that they can play in the dam. But I think that they're good ducks and they wouldn't wander far without a human to guide them.
So I walked down the hill to visit Anastasia and every single animal just followed me. The ducks and all, who aren't supposed to be down here, so I don't know what to do. Now the kookaburras are singing in celebration. And there's some butterflies as well.
We're trying to decide where we put the kitchen and the arrangement of all of the benches and tables. Having the animals in here is a good reminder that this is very much outdoors and open to the elements, so we're working with that knowledge, making sure that everything is easy to clean and framing everything around a beautiful view. I think the goats believe that this is their home because they often take cover here in a storm. Maybe they're upset that I'm renovating their special space, and I don't know if they'll let us get away with transforming it back into a human space. They'll forever use their little log bridges to cause chaos in here.
I'm going up high into the loft to see what building supplies we have up there. I have a feeling there's a slab that we could use that would be amazing, and there could also be a window. Maybe. Ooh, that ladder's not very good. There's a lot up here, but there's probably also definitely a lot of snakes up here, so it's a balance. Go away, snakes. I'm up in the shed's loft, which is the studio's on that side, and then this is kind of where we store all of the secondhand materials that we've ever collected. So there's hundreds of windows and old beams and big slabs and lots of fun things up here. But it's also really hot because we're up in the roof. There's these old windows that might just be the perfect size. They might be a little bit too tall, but potentially I can fit them in or maybe trim them a bit. And they're really beautiful, so they'll fit the space perfectly. There's no slabs that are the right width or length, so I think we'll give up on that idea, but these windows are really good and I didn't expect to find those, so I'm very excited. 1340, which would be just okay maybe, and then by 410, which is exact what we wanted. We wanted 820. I think are going to be the perfect length, and they're so good.
Join us next week for the exciting project of making a camp kitchen in the cabin build. Thank you so much to our patrons for your support on our journey.